Another RetroWorld Expo is in the books. RetroWorld Expo 5 took place this past weekend, the 28th and 29th of September in Hartford, Connecticut. It was a great time. I was once again the voice of the event, so if you were there, you heard my voice over the loudspeaker for a couple of days. It was a pleasure to do that. And I really got a lot of things done. The first thing I managed to do, and I was thrilled to do, was finally get a chance to meet Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly, whose shirt I've been wearing on this show a few times. Chris was amazing to meet. We got to talk for just a little bit. He seemed to have a really good time on this side of the country. I believe he's from California originally, so making the trek all the way to Massachusetts, I'm sure, was a bit of a haul. But getting the opportunity to meet him, talk to him a little bit, see some of the things that he picked up at the show was definitely a thrill, and I was excited to meet him. I was able to give him some extra sports games and other games that I had in my library, so that was a thrill as well. I gave him 2 full bags of games, and he's going to be using them for various purposes, so I'm certainly glad that they found new homes. While I was there, I wanted to do 2 things. The first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to play a lot of games, which I did. And the second thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to replenish my collection of sealed games for this show because I was starting to run out, and I'm happy to report that I have about 20 new sealed games that I'll be opening for the show. So we have somewhere between 15 and 20 episodes of Unsealed still to come, at least, if not 25. So the show is going to go on for the foreseeable future, and I'm very happy about that. And we'll be opening a couple of sealed games here in just a moment. Do also want to send a shout out to Frag, which is the group that put on the Ultimate Gamer Challenge at RetroWorld Expo this past weekend. I made the top 3 both Saturday and Sunday in a challenge of 10 different games between arcade, NES, Atari 2600, and more. So it was definitely a thrill to play those. I got to play both on the main stage and on another stage, both Saturday and Sunday. And while I didn't win the whole shebang, it was definitely a thrill to do that. So thanks to Luke and his team for putting this show on again this year. It was definitely awesome to compete in that, and I'm glad that I represented myself well. Okay, so let's get to unsealed business, shall we? That is what this is. It's an unsealed episode. And to celebrate meeting my friend Chris from Classic Gaming Quarterly at the show and knowing that Chris is a fan of auto racing in general, I have a pair of auto racing related games I'm going to open for the show. One I think might be resealed and not factory sealed. We'll find out when we open it. And the other is a sealed game that I picked up at RetroWorld Expo that unfortunately the seal is starting to come loose, and I want to open up the game before the seal becomes any more loose and really doesn't look sealed at all. So here's the first game. It is from 2000. It is one of the early PlayStation 2 games. It is a conversion of a Midway arcade game that I personally had never heard of until this game came out for the PS2. It was converted to the PS2 by Gratuitous Games, and again, it's a Midway game. So if you're thinking Midway sports games, and this is a sports thing, kind of, sort of, you're thinking over the top. You're thinking On Fire. You're thinking shortcuts. You're thinking heart-pumping, white-knuckle arcade action, and this game does have it. I am talking about Kart Fury Championship Racing, published by Midway in 2000. Now, unfortunately, this is an arcade game that I have not seen, but I did pick this up for my PS2 not long after I got it in 2001, and now I finally have it complete here, or at least I hope so when I open it up. As we take a look at the back of the case, Feel the Fury is the tagline here, and we do have some screenshots, and I'll tell you what the laundry list of features is. First of all, kart drivers and cars. There are 15 elite kart drivers featured from around the world in 12 secret cars. Drivers include Andretti, Fittipaldi, Vassar, and more. 18 tracks. Let me try that again. Hold on tight through 7 real-life kart tracks and 11 fantasy tracks with tons of shortcuts to get you to the finish line. So, in this game, just like in San Francisco Rush, for example, we do have shortcuts which really kind of harkens back to that arcade roots, or the arcade roots of this particular game. Soundtracks from Outkast, Nullset, and Disturbed. I believe the Disturbed track is Stupefy, which is very popular at this time. 5 different game modes: Simulator, Arcade, Season, Driving 101, and sub-games featuring mini-games like Last Man Standing and Follow the Line. Real-time races with more crashes, bashes, and on-fire boost effects, there's that midway effect, to keep your blood pumping. Danny Sullivan Theater includes behind-the-scenes video, interviews, and more. Now, Danny Sullivan, why does that name sound familiar if you're a video game fan? Well, Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat, which has been a popular reference on Pat the NES Punk and Ian's CU podcast, that's the same guy, except Danny Sullivan is more prominently featured here in this particular game. This is also an officially licensed product from Championship Auto Racing Teams, Real Drivers, Tracks, Teams, Announcers, Manufacturers, and Sponsors. Now, as I said, I think this is a real reseal job because when we look at the top here, it is not the ID label. It does say security device enclosed. So we will open it up and we will see how new this particular game is. And I will open it the right way. Hold this back here and open it up. There we go. And let me see if I can open it so you can see me actually take the plastic off. There we go. I've been sitting on this game for a while. I wasn't sure that I was going to open it for the show. But again, I don't have this complete. I just have it on disc. So if I have a chance to have it complete, then that is certainly what I want. When we open it up, and it definitely feels like a reseal job, but we'll take a look at the disc. And I will turn the disc around so you can see it as well as the instruction manual. The disc is in red, and there's the instruction manual there. When we take the instruction manual out, there's an ad for Spy Hunter in 2001. Man, can you believe that's 18 years ago? Ooh. The instruction manual is in black and white. It is not in color, and it does have the basics of how to play, what the controls are, the different gameplay modes, and more. This gives you an idea what the instruction manual looks like. There is a Midway registration card right there with the Midway logo. Midway, we miss you. The video game world is not the same without you. Disturbed's track is Stupefy. I was right. Null Set's Speechless, Outcast's Bombs Over Baghdad. Those are the songs in the game. Now, the thing that's interesting about this, when you play it, is it does feel a little bit rushed and thrown together. The sound balance is not very good. The music is very, very quiet, even if you have it cranked all the way up in the settings. The game does move pretty well. It's generally 60 frames per second, although there is some slowdown, and you would expect that from first-generation PlayStation 2 games as programmers and developers were getting used to the Emotion Engine and the PS2 hardware. So that doesn't surprise me at all. It is very much an arcade game, so if you like arcade racing games, this is not a bad one to find, and it is an endorsed game from Kart. So if you're into that particular kind of auto racing with more of an arcade feel to it, then this game can certainly be recommended. I have played it quite a bit. It is a little bit on the easy side, especially if you have the settings more geared toward easy so you can blow through it. But it is fun to pick up and play every once in a while. And again, I don't believe it's that expensive to pick up for your PS2. And it is, I believe, DVD-ROM, so you don't have to worry about any of that blue back disc nonsense if your PS2 is older and doesn't read CD-ROM-based media. So, we will take a look at the disc as well, because that's the part that makes me a little nervous when we're taking a look at resealed goods. And this is actually in good shape. So, awesome. I now have a complete copy of this, and I'm excited about that. The other game that I'm going to open for you is from 2005. Now, what's interesting about this is a racing game from Konami. Now, when you think Konami, for the most part, you're thinking about arcade games. You're either thinking about arcade games or more established franchises like Castlevania or Contra or Metal Gear. This is a one-and-done franchise, and it's a game that, quite honestly, was not received very well. But it is a racing game, and it's a racing simulation game at that. The game is called Enthusiam Professional Racing, and this was published in 2005 by Konami for the PlayStation 2. It's not what you drive, it's how you drive. And you can see here that the seal is starting to come loose at the bottom. That's why we're going to open it up on this show. Take a look at some of the screenshots. Get behind the wheel of over 200 licensed modern and vintage cars from more than 50 of the world's top manufacturers. So far, so good, right? Build your driving skills from amateur to top professional in Enthusiam Life Mode. Don't know what that is, but we'll find out as we move through. Introduces an odds system that allows vehicles with lower specs to remain competitive. Again, sounds like a cool idea. Experience the rhythm of driving in the innovative Driving Revolution mode. Now, I don't know what that means. When you look at that, when you think about that, Driving Revolution, rhythm of driving, is it like a DDR mode but driving? We'll have to take a look at the instruction manual. Advanced physics calculations precisely recreate the behavior of each vehicle's powerful motion. So far, this is just a lot of speak and a lot of promising ideas, but whether it translates well to playing the game or not remains to be seen. Visual Gravity System offers detailed real-time information about car handling and tire traction. So that sounds pretty cool, right? Again, this one is on DVD Media, produced by Manamu Akita. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at this game right now. Again, the seal is already kind of broken, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of take it right off, kind of like a Band-Aid. Here we go. Just kind of rip that right up. Don't have to use the scissors for this one, so that's always a plus. All right. You'll have to pardon the stuffy nose. Unfortunately, I think I have con crud or some other kind of cold. It's been annoying me for a few days. All right, we do still have the seal on here, by the way. So this one, at least we know, is brand new. And what's interesting about this is starting in 2005 and especially 2006, these started to go away, and they got rid of these altogether. So it's more difficult to know whether a game has been factory sealed or resealed at that point. And you're going to see a few of those as we go on to new episodes later on this year. So let's go ahead and open this up. And I think we're just going to split the seal as it is. So let's do that. There we go. And when we open it up the case, it is very sleek on the inside. This black, red, and white color scheme, again, very sleek. I like the look of it. When we take a look at the instruction manual, we'll close this for now. We take a look at the instruction manual. The instruction manual is 28 pages in length. It seems like it should be a little bit longer for a simulation game. Here's what the manual looks like on the outside. Be part of the Enthusiam professional racing team. Apparently, you could register for that if you went to konami.com/Enthusiam. That site is probably long since dead. The manual is in black and white, as you can see here. What I'm interested in is this Driving Revolution mode. Let's take a look at page 11 real quick. Driving Revolution. Each level consists of 4 stages, and you must clear all of the stages before you can proceed to the next level. Once you clear a level, you'll be able to select it from the level selection screen whenever you wish. So it is kind of like DDR, sort of, kind of. The bar inside the indicator will move up or down depending on the speed of your car. The color of the indicator and bar change according to your speed as well. A green indicator with the bar at the center will earn the highest rating. A blue indicator with the bar lower indicates that you are not driving fast enough. An orange indicator with the bar higher indicates that you are driving too fast. I don't know what they were going for here exactly, other than to try and link a new franchise to an existing franchise like DDR. And back in 2005, DDR was still very much a thing, especially on the PlayStation 2, where there were just version after version being pumped out. So that's one of the options here. Enthusiam Life is another, where it's basically, I believe, just a racing career. The VGS, the Visual Gravity System, it sounds like a Kojima-type device. Enthusiam Professional Racing is equipped with the VGS, a system for visualizing the force of gravity acting on your car. VGS information consists of the VGS icon at the bottom center and the frame on the outer edges of the screen. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's something I guess you have to play the game to really experience for sure. I think the problem with this game, because I did play it when it first came out, it has been almost 15 years since I've played it, so I don't have a lot of memories of it. But what memory I do have, the handling is very weird in the game. I think the game tried to be a little too complex and wound up really getting caught up in that too much for its own good. Remember, too, that for driving simulators, you were talking about Gran Turismo, you were talking about Sega GT, even something like Project Gotham Racing at the time with the original Xbox where that was more arcade based, but still it had that feeling of a simulation racer at the same time. So this was Konami's answer to that, and I just don't think it fared very well. It's on the same lines as like Driving Emotion Type S, where Square Enix tried to do its same thing. Squaresoft, I should say, tried to do that during the PlayStation 2's launch cycle. So it's a unique game in the fact that it's one of the few simulations that Konami would release, and it was certainly a time period for Konami where they were experimenting more and trying to release some original IPs as well as their heavy hitters. And while this one didn't hit close to home, it at least shows that Konami was trying to think outside the box a little bit and trying to do some different things. And I think that that's pretty neat when you look back on it. So, those are the two games we opened in this episode of Unsealed. Again, thanks to Chris and Classic Gaming Quarterly for taking the time to chat with me at RetroWorld Expo. Make sure you check out Chris's channel on YouTube. He's done some awesome stuff, and his most recent long-form work is a launch overview of the Sega Dreamcast. I hope that you will check that out. As always, thanks very much for watching this and all of my episodes of Unsealed. I really appreciate it. As you can see behind me, I have many more episodes to come, and I hope you join me for those as well. Until the next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you soon.